as promised, I have a read aloud for you today. I'm going to read to you a story called Snow on Martinmas. Most of you probably know that it's Veterans Day. It's a national holiday and the post office is closed and some of you might have the day off work. But it's also St. Martin's Day. And the story that I'm reading today will tell you a little bit about St. Martin. And I'll also tell you a little bit about these lanterns that you have in your worship bag. So you would have gotten a ball jar with a candle and sand in it and a little handle. And then you also have tissue paper. And you can use the tissue paper to decorate your ball jar. So here's Alistair's. And I'll blow it out so you can see it better. He drew a football player on it because he loves football. And here's Ivor's. I'll also blow it out. So we took glue and water and we just took that tissue paper and put it on there. He wanted me to draw a sun on it. So there's a sun. And he also asked me to draw Oscar Romero. So there's Oscar Romero. And then here's mine. It says, "Come, Holy Spirit." And I just took the tissue paper and painted the ball jar of glue and then stuck the tissue paper on. And then Alistair told me that it didn't look as much like stained glass as he thought it would because I said it was a stained glass lantern. So after it dried, I just took some Sharpie and outlined the flames with the Sharpie. That way you can see it a little better. All right, well, without any further ado, I'm going to read you the story, Snow on Martinmas. And this story will tell you a little bit about St. Martin, one of my favorite saints. Snow on Martinmas by Heather Slightholm. "It's snow on Martinmas," Granny cried, throwing open the cottage door. Snowflakes were whirling wildly from the sky, the first snow of the season. "No lantern walk today, I'm afraid," she sighed, turning back to Katie and Thomas. "But it's such good luck. We won't mind." "What is Martinmas?" Katie asked, for she had never heard of such a day. "Why, child," Granny said, "it's the feast of St. Martin, one of my favorite days as a girl." She gathered them around at the table while she watched the roasting goose and set the kettle to boil. "St. Martin was a Roman soldier," she explained. "One day, the air became like ice and snow began to fall, a day just like today. He came upon a poor crumpled beggar huddled on the side of the road. The man would surely freeze and die with nowhere warm to go. Martin, so comfortable on his horse and cozy within his beautiful thick coat, took the coat from his shoulders, cut it with his sword, and draped the largest part on the man. Something spoke inside his heart and said it was the right thing to do. He hurried back to the encampment, chilled but soon fortified by food and fire. That night he dreamed of the beggar who, wrapped in his coat, stood to thank him. And who might he be but Jesus Christ himself? "Is that true?" Thomas asked, doubtful of the tale. "Well, of course," Granny scoffed. "Would your old gran lie? That's not even the best part." So moved by the vision of Christ on the road, Martin decided to leave the army and become a monk. He spent his time in prayer and solitude, helping others where he could. He was such a good man that he was made bishop, although he didn't want to at first. They found him hiding in a goose pen, trying to avoid the office. Ha! And that is why we're having goose tonight. When I was a girl, Granny went on, Martinmas meant the end of the harvest season. We'd salt our meats, cook our goose, and enjoy a bit of preserves we'd been making from our garden. We'd even carve turnips and have a lantern walk, although I think they use paper lanterns now. Some old folks would wait to celebrate it on the 11th hour of this 11th day of the 11th month. Quite good luck, I would say, like this snow that says that harvest time is over. That afternoon, as the snow fell down, Katy busied herself making lanterns to hang bright and warm in the kitchen window, while Thomas preferred to play soldier. Granny tended the goose, the tea, and often fell lost in thought. Yes, Martinmas was always my favorite, she sighed. It meant the hard outdoor work was done. We lit a bonfire, we ate apples and fine goose. Advent was on our doorstep, and it wouldn't be long till Christmas time. The day is well remembered now for other reasons, she told the children, as she took the goose from the oven and the savory and delicious smell of it filled the little kitchen. For on that day, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, an armistice was signed, ending one of the bloodiest wars this world has ever known. On that day, St. Martin's Day, the world's soldiers put down their weary swords and prayed for peace. And on that day, their prayer was answered. And so, let's feast, Granny said brightly, after a moment's pause. Get the finest dishes, the prettiest jar of jam and jelly, and set yourself at Granny's table. For it is Martinmas, and the harvest is done. We're safe and warm, and we live in peace. About St. Martin. St. Martin of Tours was born in 316 A.D. in what is now modern-day Hungary. He was drawn to Christianity from an early age, but he was also the son of a Roman officer, and he was drafted into the Roman army at the tender age of 15. His time in the army brought him to Gaul, modern-day France, where it is said he encountered a beggar in the cold outside the city gates. Martin was moved to take off his cloak, cut it, and offer it to the beggar. That night he had a dream that the beggar revealed himself as Christ, and Martin was inspired to leave his military career to live as a simple monk, spreading the gospel. Later in life, Martin started the first monastery in Gaul and gained such a reputation as a good and godly man that the city of Tours begged him to be their bishop in the year of 317. According to legend, Martin was so overwhelmed by the idea of being bishop, he fled into the monastery barn to hide, but the squawking geese gave him away. The city of Tours had to trick him into coming back to town by requesting he blessed a sick person. And when he arrived, he was brought to the cathedral to be ordained as bishop. Martin of Tours, as he was later called, spent the rest of his life traveling through Gaul, converting pagans, tending the sick, and even performing miracles. He died in the year 397 in Candace, which, along with Tours, has become a site of pilgrimage. Later, he was declared a saint, and is the patron saint of horsemen, the poor, soldiers, and tailors. His feast day is November 11th. Modern history also celebrates this day as Veterans Day and as Armistice Day, because this is the day when in 1918, World War I was officially brought to an end.